All right, hey everybody, jumping back in. Hope everybody had a nice Memorial Day weekend. Tuesday, back at it with another webinar. Let's get started. Talk a little bit on marketing strategy here. Selling at resistance, useful for making marketing decisions. Basically, we're going to define resistance, price area that struggles for price to break through or it stalls out at. If you can see this picture, that's at about 560, I believe, on Dees Corn. You can see how many times price bumped up against that level, and you'll see later on another chart that it did finally break through. But that is what we would call a resistance level. And so when you're trying to use resistance maybe as sales opportunities, that's kind of what you would look for. Now, we haven't figured out how to sell everything at the high yet. I'm not sure if anybody has, but is this something that could get you close? Well, in some ways you could say, again, at this point, you could argue this was the high of December corn, obviously until we flip over to this next chart and you see it continue higher. But again, the main point here is that there's an opportunity to sell at the higher levels. And frankly, we just don't know when the high is going to be put in. So here's the December corn chart up until today. Keep in mind we're doing this here this morning. So what I'm showing you here is resistance points where a person could make 10% cash sales on the way up. And kind of what we tried to do here is really look for an area where price kind of touched 2 or 3 times. And again, this is hindsight in some regards. So but we try not to cherry pick areas. I mean, basically we took the chart, and as we moved it further and further, we found these price points, and we figured you could probably make some sales in here. And as you can see right now at the very high end, that 750 area is currently the contract highs. And if you were following along with this plan, that would have been a good spot to be making a sale. Here it is on the weekly chart. Everything, not quite as clear. You don't see the resistance levels as well. So that's why we're using this daily, so you can kind of fine tune where these sale points would be, and give or take 10 cents. Nothing is perfect. So here's what that would come out to if you were to follow this strategy, basically selling 10%, in this case 11%, 185 bushel an acre farmer, 1,000 acres. Okay, and there's the prices in the futures right there, 560, 650, 680, 710. We just round it. We just went to a round number for easy figuring, but as you can see, your average price on 65 to 60% of your bushels, again, 11%, 10% sales each, you'd have an average futures price of 658. And at the time of this recording, Dees corn futures is around 720. So you got to kind of look at that and think, this isn't too bad of a marketing plan. And again, the point, we're kind of trying to illustrate here as we go into real time. We sent out a text here last week on the bean market. And we wanted to take some action because, again, in real time, you can see with that top white line, this 1540 area has been resistance. Now, is this the contract highs? We don't know. There's a lot of time before this contract expires. And then if you flip over to a continuous chart, certainly we can see price as the marketing year continues, past harvest to go higher. But for the time being, this is a high area on the chart. And so we feel that it's worth rewarding with a sale or with some action. And again, just taking a step back, you can see the other white lines, which are resistance points and areas that we typically made a sale at throughout the year. That one long white line illustrates how resistance, which was at about 14, now becomes support. You can see on the chart where price has fallen down and then bounced back up. But again, it's struggled to get past that 15, 40, 30, 15, 50 area. So again, point here is it's not such a bad idea to sell into strength. We've talked about this on webinars before. You kind of have 2 choices when making a marketing decision. You either sell into strength or you have to run a trailing stop, which means you're typically selling more out of a support level. If the support fails, you're fine. On the opposite side, if you sell into strength, as you can see with like the Dees corn chart, if price breaks through, obviously, you're not selling at the highs. The point is, though, you're getting a better average price and you're making a sale at a current high, if you will. Hopefully that makes sense. The charts should illustrate the point that we're trying to make here. So kind of wrapping up, and again, if you found this video helpful, please, hit the like button and make sure to subscribe to the channel. But again, selling resistance gives you the opportunity to quote unquote sell at the highs. And we put in big bold letters here, at least for the time being. Again, nobody knows where the highs of the market are going to be, but using the chart and using support and resistance levels, a person can kind of make some marketing decisions at certain areas on when perhaps would be a good time to make a sale. The other thing we want to point out is you could just call it an action area where you buy puts or sell calls. Why would you want to do that? Well, if you don't want to make continuous cash sales, your puts are going to be cheaper as the premiums have fallen as price rises. Or if you're looking to sell calls and collect premium, you're going to collect more in premium as the call as the underlying futures price has risen. So that's might be a little more sophisticated. Please call us or email us if you have questions. But again, the point here is the resistance zones can certainly be an area of action. And again, be consistent. What we did is I showed you basically, okay, in the chart it came out as 11%. Okay, call it 10%, what have you. Reward your rallies with a similar percent, and then just focus on average price. Keep your dollars together. If you have any questions, let us know. Again, we appreciate you liking and subscribing our videos. If you would like to see a marketing plan, or if you'd like us to run some averages for you, I have that Excel sheet. Just reach out to us here. The email is in the description below. Otherwise, it is admin@prime-ag.net, and we would be happy to get this information out to you. Thanks for tuning in. We will see you guys next week.